Okay, I want to show you guys the beginning of my business, right? So I started out with this handyman idea on an app called TaskRabbit. All I wanted to do was start to bring in money and sort of try to figure out the path forward, right? This I discovered this app because I went and bought a table for 50 bucks at IKEA, that just for a little, like a little office table where I could film videos. And then they asked me if I needed it assembled, or maybe on the receipt or something. Maybe it wasn't asked by the cashier. But no matter, I followed that thread, and it said you're going to get it assembled by a TaskRabbit tasker. And so I looked it up, went to their website, and I realized, oh, I could put together furniture. And so I started at $25 an hour because I just wanted jobs. I just wanted to see how it worked. And to see how anything works, just do any job for any pay, because you're practicing. You're getting paid to practice is what you're doing. And any momentum leads to more momentum. Like the moment you start getting paid for one thing, you think of how to get paid more for another thing, and then more for another thing. It just leads you down a path. Whereas if you just keep thinking about things, you'll just stay stagnant. You'll just keep thinking about it. I have guys that I offer advice to, and they're like, well, how do you, make so much money in the TV mounting business? And, I'll tell them exactly what I do. Often on my Facebook, I tell people exactly what I do. I tell them the exact ads I run. I show the ads. I mean, I lay it all out there, and nobody has copied it. I mean, they could just do the same thing, but they keep thinking about it. And then they'll message me like 6 months later and go, hey, I was still thinking about doing that thing. They're always just thinking about it. Just go out and do a job, even if it's insulting to you to get paid, let's say $25 an hour, right? Just go do it, because you're not really, it's not for the money at that point. You just want to get started. Just get that ball rolling, and you'll think of other ideas. And basically, you can think of that as free money to then use towards advertising on Google, right? But let's just go through some of these. So I did everything. Furniture assembly, $25 an hour for 2 hours, 50 bucks. Heavy lifting. And so that's when somebody needs an object. Let's say they have, a bed come, and they just need it put in their house, right? And you just come, wheel it into their house with a dolly. Furniture assembly, $25 an hour, 1 hour. Heavy lifting, so this, I started on July 24th of 2020. And so 7 days, $483.91. Not a lot of money. It won't really make a dent for any of you, but I was just testing it out. And so for just testing something out, it was basically free money, Going and assembling things is a piece of cake. And so August, you'll see, this is August of 2020, I jacked some rates up for moving heavy furniture, $100. And so generally those, it would only take, I'd show up, I'd take the thing out of the truck, put it in the house, done. It would usually take me 10 minutes, 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes. Usually 10 minutes though. You literally just grab the thing and move it in. Like if you're strong enough, you don't even need to bring a dolly. But if you bring a dolly for a real heavy object, you just wheel it into the house. It's not a big deal. And so it's good pay for the time and effort. Furniture assembly. So I jacked these rates up a little bit just to test. And what happened was a higher quality of client would come through. It's like they just wanted to hire whoever was most expensive on the app because they thought it would be, a better quality of service. And so you'll see, $120. Furniture assembly, I still had at $50. I put at $50. And so I was making $100 for 2 hours. Help moving, I'm not sure why I still had that one so low. They must have booked when I still had the low rate, and then I actually did the job then. But you'll see, furniture assembly, $50 for 1 hour. And so you can see the, mounting, I had up to $80, 1.7 hours, $140, $16 tip. So, I mean, that's still good money for anybody, $8 an hour. You can't laugh at that. Furniture assembly, $59, 4 hours. This was probably a bed. I used to put together, yeah, a bunk bed assembled for a staged home, a dresser, nightstand, and legs installed on a kitchen table. But what it also did is, I was a new father, so I learned a lot of handyman tasks really quick, and I got paid quite a bit of money to learn all that stuff. I mean, I could assemble anything now in no time. And so you'll see all these things here. I might put all these out on a PDF so that you can see them all, because I think that'd be useful. But $4,360 in my first full month, where I was just kind of winging it. September, what did I do that month? $6,150 in the second full month. That's good money. So this one, furniture assembly, I must have still had that. This must have been a job that was booked when I still had it low. So even cancellations, if it's cancellation at the last minute, if the person cancels, you still get paid your rate, which is kind of great because, people do that from time to time, and then they TaskRabbit charges them. Home repairs, what was this one? $100 for 1 hour. Replace a toilet seat. I remember this job. Yeah, I remember that. You just unbolt the toilet seat and put a new one on. I'd never done it in my life, but it's just obvious. You just look at it and it's obvious what you need to do. You unbolt 2 bolts and put a new one on and bolt it back in. But you can see all this stuff. And so this is a godsend, this app. So for any of you that are just thinking about making a little side cash, this app alone it'll be fantastic. And so, yeah, I'm gonna export all these so you can see them all. I think it'll provide a lot of inspiration. What was October? 6,213. That was a good month too. So the only difference is I just jacked up my rates further. So now it's at $67 for 1 hour. November. So here's where I started to. So in October, I realized. So at first I didn't do any mounting jobs because I didn't really know if that was something that I was comfortable with. I honestly didn't. I mean, I'd mounted my own TV, but it's not like I could mount them anywhere on any surface. But I started doing them, and then I just got a little more comfortable with it. And then in September here is when I decided I'm going to put up my own website, so the mountingman.tv. And then I just started slowly in October tinkering with trying to get jobs off, Google ads. And then it took off. And so you'll see November here, TaskRabbit went way down because I was getting paid way more with people booking on my website from Google ads. And so TaskRabbit ever since has been slow. And now I barely use it at all. But I always recommend it. I still do probably 5 jobs a month on TaskRabbit maybe. Some months I do 0 because, I'm just way too busy doing more lucrative jobs, but I still do them sometimes. But, you'll see it tapers off. What do we have for February? But still, it still pays rent in these months. So this was March 31st, 2021. May 2021, 4,000. That was way up there. This is kind of when I started farming stuff out to some guys that I had too. So this doesn't represent me doing all these. But you'll see 42 and a half hours invoiced, 4,700. So over $100 an hour. 5,000. So again, over $100 an hour, 41 hours invoiced. So 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week, obviously you're driving there, so it's obviously more hours because drive time, but still, it's very simple work. July, 2,400. So these are my busy months for the Mounting Man. And so those months, TaskRabbit, I barely do anything. 6 tasks. 0 in that month. Because November is, Black Friday all the way to Christmas. There's no way I can take a TaskRabbit job. And so I will download all these and put them just so you can look through them as inspiration, I suppose. And try to get on that app. I know it's more difficult to get on it now, but get on the wait list if you can't get on it in your city.